I don't know if you guys are familiar with Andy Griffith. It's an old show. But there was a character on there by the name of Otis Campbell, I think. Was it Otis Campbell? This guy would get drunk, okay? And he'd come in stumbling. And he'd go straight to the jail cell and open the jail cell, walk in, close it, and lay himself out to sober it up. See, that's what we do. You're free. Yeah, that's all right. I'm okay, I promise. Right? I'm okay. No, please leave me alone, I'm okay. Because we enslave ourselves. And Paul is asking, God is asking, why? Why do you live the way you live, but yet you're not the same person? Why? Right before he shared that he does what he doesn't want to do, but does what he doesn't want to do and doesn't do what he does want to do, he says this in Romans chapter 6. So if you have your Bibles, just flip back one page. Romans chapter 6, verse 5. He says, do you understand something that happened? When Christ died on the cross and you accepted him, that you were freed. Verse 5, it says, for if we have been united with him in death like his, we shall certainly be united with him in resurrection like his. We know that our old self, okay, the old ways of doing things, the old way you used to think, he says, was crucified with him in order that the body of sin might be brought to nothing, so that we would no longer be enslaved to sin. For one who has died has been set free from sin. You and I have been set free from this thing. You see, before we were enslaved, we didn't know we were enslaved. We were just, walking around like a zombie, the Walking Dead, We didn't know we were enslaved. We didn't know that we were enslaved, and it felt normal, walking around, partying, like, how come I can't? Partying, right? Not knowing that we were enslaved. And we were okay with that life. But you came to know Christ, and a new spirit came within you. But then all of a sudden, the old self started thinking again. The old ways of doing things. You started getting back into the old things you used to do. God was asking, why? Why are you doing the things you're doing? If you're not the same person you used to be. Why? What's going on? What happened with that spirit? Because I know it's still there. It's God's spirit that he placed within you. Why are you doing the same things you used to do? But you're a brand new person. So he says, it's that sin that you have to be aware that there is a struggle between. And at that very instant when sin comes along and says, hey, let me give in. Look what he says in verse 11. He says, do you understand what's going on here? I want you to understand that there are a couple of things that you can control if you've come to know Christ. He says, one is your thinking, and two are your choices. Verse 11, he says, so you must consider yourself dead to sin and alive to Christ. You see, that word consider is an accounting term, it's a financial term, that you move over from one side of what they owe you to what you have now, like an asset loss type of deal. He says that's an accounting term. So you must consider yourself dead to sin and alive to Christ. You have to consider yourself, okay? Because it's a thinking. It's not nothing that you do, it's thinking. Because for so long, some of you guys, maybe 40, 30, 20, for that amount of years, you were programmed. You're worthless, you can't do it, that's who you are. Every sin that was sinned against you, that's who you are. The sin that you committed, you participated in, that's who you are. God is saying, no. You must consider yourself dead to sin, alive to Christ, because he has set you free. You're free. There's nothing holding you back. It's just the way you think. That's it. You're free. You don't have to be that person you used to be. You don't. He says, in fact, you don't even have to make the choices you used to make. But I get it, it's difficult, right? We're used to making the same old choices. But this is what he says. Verse 12. Let not sin, therefore, reign in your mortal body, to make you obey its passions. Do not present your members, okay? Don't present your body parts to sin as instruments for unrighteousness. He says, let not, okay? Let not. What do you mean? What he's saying is you have a choice. Don't let that sin rule over you. Don't let that sin master you. Don't let that sin control you. When sin comes up and says, hey, man, let me use your eyes to go watch that site that's inappropriate. You say, okay, let's go. You're programmed. Okay, I'm going to go watch that site. Hey, let me use your feet to go to that inappropriate place. Let's go. Right? At that very instant, you make a choice. Let sin control or let me make a decision. At that very moment. And Paul is saying, let not sin. Okay? It's your choice. Sin comes knocking at your door, says, hey, let me use your body for inappropriate ways. Okay. What else, sin? Hey, let me use your mind to dwell on the things that people are doing so you can get angry and frustrated. Okay, sin. Hey, let me use your ears to listen in on gossip and do all. Okay, sin. I just can't stop. Paul is saying, you got a choice. You have a choice. You have a choice. You're free. No, I don't know if I am or not. Seriously, I don't know. I mean, I've tried, God, I really have. I mean, why can't I change? Reprogramming. Consider yourself dead to sin and choose, let not sin reign in your body. I was talking to someone yesterday, and she was telling me how she wanted to restructure her life so that she could become more organized, and she wanted to take hold over time. She said, you know what? I was having a conversation with my husband. I said, you know what? I want to take hold of my time. I need to become more productive. And so one of the ways I'm going to become more productive is I'm going to shut down the TV, because the TV around 8 or 9 o'clock, what it does is it makes me watch that show. Like that show makes me watch it. And she was telling this to her husband. Her husband said, what? No. And I think her favorite show was, what was that? No, it wasn't Scandal. It was the crazy guy. They're like all scientists, real smart. Big Bang Theory. They were there, and so she's saying that guy Sheldon always keeps on getting hold of me. And her husband told her, Sheldon doesn't grab a hold of you. You let Sheldon get a hold of you. You see, the Big Bang Theory, whatever it starts, right? It says, come on. You're like, okay, I really don't want to do this. Oh, I really don't want to do it, for real. Ooh, I really don't want to do it, though. No, please, no. She's taken hostage. But it's not that the Big Bang Theory is taking hold of her. It's that she chose to allow Big Bang Theory to take a hold of her. You see, when sin comes and knocks at your door and says, hey, let me use your feet. Let's go to that inappropriate place. Let's go. You say, I really don't want to. I really don't. No, please, no. Yeah. Please, no. Right? God says you have a choice. The very results, the very things that are happening in your life right now are just results of the choices that you've decided to obey or disobey sin. Now, God is so caught up with sin, you see, because what happens with sin, if you decide to go down the alley of sin and you decide to say, hey, come on, sin, let's go, hang out. He doesn't tell you he's got a partner with him. You know, when you go out, hey, man, you want to go hang out? You get in the car and boom, there's somebody back there in the car seat, in the back of the back seat. They're like, hey, what's up, man? I said, hey, I thought we were going to go. Just us two. No, I brought my homeboy. Hey, what's up? And he's a rowdy one, an obnoxious one, real loud. Like, man, why'd you bring this dude, right? You know that person. So, sin says, hey, come on, can I borrow your feet? And you go You get in a car and you say, yeah, I really don't, but you get in, and guess who's sitting in the back seat? Death. Death is coming with you. Because right behind sin, death is near. So you guys, I've experienced. And I'm tired of death. Death in my finances, death in my marriage, death in my relationships. Death. In everything. I don't know about you, but if I choose sin, death is coming right alongside of it. Inseparable. Death is coming along. Just know that. That when you decide to walk with sin and allow sin to use the members of your body, you're just saying, come on, death, let's go hang out too. Well, Paul says, though, but present yourselves to God as those who have been brought from death to life, and your members to God as instruments for righteousness. Okay? Use your members, your thoughts, your mouth, your ears, your feet, your hands for the righteousness of God. When temptation comes or sin comes and knocks, you say, no, I ain't going, man. I can't go. Oh, come on. It's going to be fun. No, you're bringing along death. You're bringing them. I know you are. He says, for sin will have no dominion over you, since you are not under the law, but under grace. You see, sin has no control over you. Sin has no control over you. Sin can't do anything. It has no power over you. Do you get that? That it has no power over you, that when it comes, knocks at the door, knocks, and you hear it, it doesn't have power over you. Like, it can't whip you. It can't beat you to go. You're not enslaved anymore. You used to be. You came to know Christ. Set you free. But some of us want to pick it up, but like, can I take this with me? I feel, I remember all the good times. I'm just gonna hold on to it like this. Look, I'm free in Jesus. But look, you remember? You remember what happened? Paul says you have a choice. Sin has no power over you. He says that's what you need to begin to understand. That sin has no power over you. One of the things that they say, if you've ever gone to the circus, that there's a circus, there's elephants out there, right? You've seen that, right? You've seen where the elephants, and they're huge. Well, I'll take you, okay? There are huge elephants out there, and you look, you're like, man, I wonder how come they don't come and just charge and place their big old foot like right on my neck, right? But they don't move. They're there. Eating hay. But you know what happens when they're little? Little elephants, babies. They want to run around. What they do, they grab a big old heavy chain. They wrap it around them. So the baby elephant's like, ow. Ow. Over and over that happens. They can't move because of that big old chain. After they get used to the chain for a little bit, they realize they really can't go anywhere. So they don't even try anymore. They just kind of do this. They just kind of do this and they stay in their spot. Because there's a chain around their ankle. After a while, they want to go and they can't go. So they begin to grow up. And little do they know that these guys, these trainers, don't even put the chain anymore. They just put a piece of string around their ankle. And as soon as they feel that piece of string, they're like, oh, I'm chained up. Big old elephants, right? Like they could pop that string. But they have a piece of string because they remember that that piece of string was a big old chain that would keep them. So now as soon as anything they feel on their ankle, they're like, I can't go nowhere. Like, dude, you're humongous. You're like tons. Run. Nope. I got something on my ankle. I wonder what would happen if elephants could understand like Dumbo, right? And I went up to their ear and said, hey, Dumbo, you're free. Huh? You're free. Hey, you got nothing on your ankle, dude. Run. Run. Let's run. I'll run first and you follow. Run. I wonder what that elephant would say. I wonder what the elephants would be like, can't do it. I can't do it. Shove me off with its ear. I can't do it. I'm stuck to this thing. I know what you're saying, but I'm not free. Every time I used to pull on it, it would yank me back. I'm not free. No, you don't understand, Dumbo. You're free. Look, do this. You're free. Run. I wonder if an elephant would say, what? Should I try? And take off running. What if it believed me? It would take off running. Right? I wonder what's happening to you right now. You're stuck to that same sin, that sin that you struggle with, okay? And you got it on tight. You come to know Jesus, but it's there. Hey, you're free. Did you know you're free? Nope. Still have it. No. Let go of it. Let go of it. I can't. No. Just let go. Run, man. All the desires that God placed within you, every passion, every dream, run with it. You're free. I don't know. I don't think I can, though. I'm not as talented as them. And you know, when I was a little kid, my dad said I was dumb. My mom never treated me like that. She would scream at me. Everyone thinks I'm not that great. No. You're free. Do you get it? Like you don't have to live that way. Run. Allow God to unleash that thing from within you. I don't know. For some of you, hopefully, this will catch on and say, you know what? Am I free? Yeah, you're free. And you will do what God has called you to do. That you will let go of that enslavement and run. And run. Whatever God has called you to, that you take hold of that and just run. You know what? I'm going to do that. Because I believe that God believes in me. And I believe him. What are you going to do? Because there's something that you have to do if you want to begin to change. It's one thing if you say it every morning, if you say it to yourself. If you say it to yourself, say, I am not controlled. Sin will not control. So you're going to say this, sin does not control me. I am free. Say it with me. Sin does not control me. I am free. Sin, say it with me, sin does not control me. I am free. Now I want you to whisper it. Sin does not control me. I'm free. You know why you need to do that? Because as soon as you leave this place, as soon as you walk out of this place, sin is going to say, hey, let me use your ears. Let me use your mouth. Tomorrow morning, you know what's going to happen. You already know. You've prayed to God, but you already know what's going to happen. As soon as someone goes off, you know exactly the attitude you're going to give. You know exactly the things you're going to do. So when that happens, something needs to come up and say, sin has no control over me. I'm free. In that instant, it needs to happen. Or else, you're going to pick that chain back up and continue to walk life every single day, month after month. But what if it would look like today? What if you grabbed a hold of that truth and it came to your mind, after a few days, it moved to your heart, and you began to live life the way you feel it should work, the way you've dreamed about it, the way you envision it? What if you decided today to take that truth and allow it to sink into your mind, into your heart, and say, today I'm going to change this thing because I am free. I'm free. And for some of you guys, you've lived life for the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years enslaved not knowing. If I'm free, if I can do the very thing God has placed within me. Because the very life you live right now, that very change, the new you, is God breathing life into you. The very air you breathe is God's breath within you. That you are not enslaved. Sin has no control over you, and you are free. Sin does not control me. I'm free. I'm free. I hope you get a hold of that today, because the Holy Spirit has already spoken to you, and you know those areas that you're struggling with. That if you say, sin doesn't have control over me, I'm free. That that would move from just out here to your head to your heart. What if that would happen? That God could create that transformation in your life. What if? But ultimately, it's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to you.